And joining us now to talk about a somewhat related but different topic, albeit, our lead investigator, Rebecca Lindstrom. And your story is all about how teenagers can get access to ghost guns.
Yeah, and when we talk about a ghost gun, we're talking about a gun that is sold in parts and pieces, and you assemble it, and because it came in parts and pieces, it doesn't have a serial number, and that has changed in the law. Those little parts and pieces for basically a handgun has changed through several long court fights. So now what's really accessible are these AR rifles. And it was really interesting as we were going on and just researching this story to go on these websites and try to go on and, you know, they might ask your age, but most of them you could just click a box and say, yeah, I'm over 21.
Sure.
You could go to gambling sites and you've got to upload a driver's license. You know, if you're ever going to buy a ticket on Georgia Lottery, there's age verification. So you can definitely do this process. But when it comes to these parts and pieces, they're still probably easier to get than some parents would find comfortable. And so, yeah, I just want to show you the story that we have just put together on ghost guns that kind of helps explain this issue so that we can talk a little bit more about it after.
Okay, let's check it out.
We've got an active shooter at Saugus High School.
My son is still locked up. He's barricaded in his classroom.
It is the worst news a parent can hear.
I wept and I wailed and I cried. I just fell to the ground.
Brian Muehlberger's daughter Gracie was dead, killed in a school shooting. As his family mourned inside their home, the community quietly gathered outside.
And they were putting candle lights along all of our driveway and the sidewalks up and down our entire street. And it was just, it was beautiful.
Police believe the 16-year-old student who killed Gracie, another student, and injured 3 others before taking his own life, used a privately made firearm, commonly called a ghost gun. Muehlberger sued to have those gun parts treated the same as a weapon.
And you look at the parts, you can't apply these parts in any other use. It's going to become a gun.
Until the Supreme Court upheld new federal rules in 2025, ghost gun kits were sold online without background checks, available to anyone with money, including criminals and kids. How old do I have to be to buy a gun?
21 for a handgun, 18 for a shotgun.
The kits to build AR rifles and products to 3D print a weapon remain on the market with little to no barriers. Some companies ask about your age, but lying can be as easy as checking a box. Forsyth Sheriff and head of Georgia Sheriff Association Ron Freeman says these guns, though, are often more expensive than buying one off of the street and harder to assemble.
While I'm not saying some 16-year-old couldn't acquire that and have the necessary skills to be able to do metal manufacturing, cutting, precise measurements and doing this, but it's going to be a super small number.
The most recent Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms data says police recovered more than 54,000 privately made firearms in 2 years, nearly 2,400 of those in the hands of juveniles. In Douglasville, a 13-year-old making ghost guns to sell accidentally killed his sister during a robbery attempt.
I believe in, putting your guns in gun safes, getting accurate training, making sure they're not in hands of kids.
Open records requests show in the past 5 years, police here in the metro found ghost guns at 68 scenes, at least 8, which led to the arrest of a minor on charges as serious as carjacking and armed robbery. Muehlberger says, as a gun owner, he has fought for balance in the law. But now the Gracie Strong Foundation has a new focus.
I believe strongly in the human voice's ability to be a powerful change and mover of people, and we want to inspire children to be able to do that.
Muehlberger hopes the community will come together again, this time to find ways to build confidence in kids to speak up when they need help or see something wrong. He believes it would have saved his daughter's life.
Why didn't someone say something about this kid's issues? Why didn't his mom ask for help?
Because to grieving families, the gun serial number doesn't change the impact of its bullet. Rebecca Lindstrom, 11Alive News investigates.
Well, So many what ifs in that case, just like we're seeing here with the Appalachia story.
And even talking about this issue is really complicated because I'll admit our own research took so many different directions as we were doing it, because when we really started looking into this, the Supreme Court had not made its decision to uphold the ATF's rules, which made these handguns harder to access without the background check, without some kind of age verification. Now, if you were to try to purchase those, you would be able to make the purchase, but it's going to go to a dealer in your community who then is doing that check before they hand over those parts and pieces. And certain parts do now have to have a serial number. Yet there's still the AR weapons that do not fall under that Supreme Court ruling. So you've got different kinds of guns that have different rules applied to them. So that's one complicated layer to it. Then you just have, I mean, we have those Second Amendment rights that some people fiercely fight for
Sure.
in order to be able to have guns. So we know that this is just, you say the word gun and everybody has a different emotion or feeling associated with it and kind of tends to fall into different camps. There are gun manufacturers that when you purchase a gun, part of those proceeds are already going to try to repeal the law that was upheld by the Supreme Court. So you even have individuals who say, no, we shouldn't even be doing those barriers in order to access these guns. So it's very complicated and nuanced, and a lot of people have feelings about this story, which is one reason why I really like Brian's perspective in the sense that he is a gun owner. He is a fierce supporter of the Second Amendment. He found himself on the other side of kind of this issue. It made him fight for the gray. He then fought for these laws to at least try to keep some of these weapons out of the hands of kids who aren't supposed to have them in the first place. I mean, like our law already says, unless you're 18 or 21, you're not
Right.
supposed to have access to this anyway. So why are we giving them a loophole to purchase them?
Right.
But then also says, you know, we can't just blame the gun. We need to look at ourselves as a community and say, well, what are we doing to look around the children in our lives and to get them the help or the resources that they might need so that they don't pick up a ghost gun or any weapon and do something that's going to be harmful to their future.
Can I ask you a naive question? Well, who are these ghost guns geared to? I mean, if I'm an adult, I'm a non-felon, I can go out and legally purchase a gun on my own, and I'm going to use it for hunting or protecting my family. Why would I get a ghost gun?
I think that is part of the argument that some have used, saying that the only reason you would go get a ghost gun is if you can't buy one legally. Either you're a criminal, you've got some kind of mental health hold that's going to make you not pass a background check, or you are a juvenile who wouldn't be able to get one through legal means. But then there really are these hobbyists, people who are just gun enthusiasts, people who just like to build things and want to be able to say, look what I made. Or they've got a regular weapon, but they want to be able to, you know, add a special feature to it. So being able to get a part or piece that allows them to get that feature is exciting or interesting to them. You also have 3D printing.
Yes, you do.
And so you can go, and even if we say you can't buy it from company X, you might still just then be able to create a design to 3D print it, which is another layer. So there really are legitimate gun owners who enjoy this process. It's a huge market. I mean, you can go online and search for these, type even ghost gun, and you will find several manufacturers that are selling them and seem to be very well off, thriving companies.
All right, Rebecca, we appreciate the investigation this morning. Thank you.